out the long-term student. We usually do videos instead of replays, but you can't do it with just a window capture. You have to do like a special format. But yeah. So. Hello. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
hi. Yeah, I was. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was expecting you to be in the coaching channel in this
Yeah,
exclusive
I
co-op.
wanted the exclusive co-op because you see this one has a maximum of 2 people.
Oh,
And if we go
oh,
on the
okay.
other one, someone could jump in. So this is
Uh,
make sure somebody doesn't jump in and say something inappropriate, that goes on the Twitch. So yeah.
okay, because it caught me by surprise. I didn't know if I should enter there or if you were with someone else or something. So,
No,
yeah.
you're good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um, guess you got my email with the
Yep.
video. Okay.
Um,
And it was a pretty short recording. The client started crashing, and I
oh
got so
yeah.
upset.
That's what's gonna take Hearthstone
And
down. Like the client's crashing, everyone's saying power creep and balance. It's that feeling
yeah,
of the client crashing too many times, and people are like, I'm gonna go play Magic the Gathering with my friends in real life. So
yeah, because it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, it just kept entering the game. Something about I forget what term it is, but reconnecting. It just kept reconnecting. So I finally called it quits. So it's
yeah.
gonna be just like 5 games,
Okay.
and
Hopefully, hopefully, you make lots of mistakes so we can talk about them. If you play phenomenally, we're gonna have the hard time filling up an hour, right? So, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll have a lot of questions. I got my notepad and everything. I was
Yeah.
just looking at our stats, and actually, Paladin, Buff Paladin, I've only been playing it for 5 months, and the longest you've coached me was back in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and we had 11 months of Hunter
Okay.
coaching. And every time they'd nerf a Hunter like Beast or something, we'd switch to another version. We went through Beast and Face and Splitter and Hound. So,
Yeah, this Handbuff
yeah,
Paladin won't die. It's
right.
and
And I noticed, and I also noticed about hand buff is the only card I don't have from the new stuff is something called Razor. What's it? Razor Scale.
oh,
Razor
okay.
Scale.
You don't need that. It's like a
Uh,
tech card, and it's not really that. So people play this deck as almost like an aggressive tech card deck, where they run weird tech cards to beat like whatever the current meta is. Um, that's kind of so because it's kind of like a bunch of stats that kind of just work in general because you have Magatha and you have Weapon, and that's all you really need. And then you just run some weird tech cards in the midst of it. So raise the scales to beat Rogue, I think. You put that, and then they
oh,
can't. Everything's expensive, so
okay. All right. Since I stayed away from Hearthstone for like a month, I don't have a lot of the cards. I don't have Ceaseless Expanse. I never got that Bob the Bartender thing that you got
yeah.
free, I think.
I
So
thought
yeah,
Bob wasn't that big a deal, but we recently found out Bob is the strongest card in Hearthstone. So I don't have
yeah.
it on my Asia account. It's a huge miss out. So
Uh, but I guess people still have the option of crafting it if they didn't
yeah,
complete the. Yeah, and it's probably a legendary, so it's probably 1,600 dust.
yeah, it's a lot of money.
So, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm missing a lot of stuff, but I did manage to build this one 30 card buff paladin that uh, you've been working with me for 5 months with this buff paladin.
Yep, and
So,
it's good old reliable. It always is good, and they nerf everything else, and they think like, oh, something fancy is gonna show up, and everyone just starts playing hand buff paladin again. It's the meat and potatoes, it's the bread and the butter, it's the rice and beans. It's the I don't know. I'm trying to go through every. It's the pasta and the meatballs of
But
of Hearthstone. You know, so it's
yeah. And also, like you said to the guy yesterday you were coaching on Twitch, it's the brain dead deck.
yeah. I mean, it really isn't. It's just more like it's jamming fundamentals. So if you're a very advanced player, 90% of your decisions are going to be obvious. Now, you might have like a small percentage of decisions that you have to really pay attention to play it at the absolute highest level. But once it really like is just lots of fundamentals Hearthstone. So once you make the modifications of like, okay, my turn 1 through 3 aren't very good. I buff my hand. I do a power push. You know, maybe I switch for a second power push. I go for an OTK. So, I mean, it's a really good deck for learning a sort of one-dimensional way of winning in Hearthstone. So, you know, it does that very well.
Okay.
It's just
All
not as
right.
fun for me,
Because
but yeah.
because I was going through my old notes with you, and I think the only reason why I dropped Hunter at one time you said that I should upgrade from Hunter because it was too basic play, and I was ready for the next stage. And I think that's why we dropped Hunter,
I
or
Hunter
maybe it was just the
was doing
nerfs.
Hunter was also just like a 40 that was not doing as well, and Hamba Paladin was like the dominant tempo deck. So it was kind
Ah,
of we were playing
oh,
like the version with the you know, you play the make the the 4 mana spell that you get all the 1/1s, and then you
yeah,
would put the spell on it. But that deck hasn't
yeah,
been strong meta contender for a while. It still, you know, sees play on the climb, but it's Hamba Paladin is kind of dominant. So, you know, it's kind of the
yeah,
more, you know, the more things we make easy for ourselves, the better, right? So, you know,
yeah,
I
yeah. Yeah, I remember the Hunter because I had a lot of good role models with
mhm.
Hunter. I mean, Sidisi and Ron Mexico, and there was a lesser player named Lenny who would play Hunter almost exclusively. So I could watch their Twitch and pick up little tips here and there. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did get nerfed pretty bad.
I'm looking
So
like seeing a who plays Hamba Paladin. It looks like Pizza plays a lot of Hamba Paladin. So,
yeah,
but
I noticed he's been playing it on his stream. He'll play it for a while and then he'll switch to Shaman
okay.
during that same stream. But yeah, he's been playing it a lot. And some names, Curly Wordy has played it a few times in her stream. And then a German player named Varul, Varul,
Hmm.
has played. I found them in HS Replay,
Yep.
input my particular version of the deck, and check the VODs and so, to see how many people had posted games playing that deck.
Yep. And remember, you don't necessarily have to find the exact version, right? So, um, it's
Okay.
you know, remember you're trying to find. We don't want to be hyper precise. We want to figure out the general concepts and then play with them ourselves. Um, so as opposed to, you know, if we don't want to say like, okay, this is what we, you know, if a player runs, you know, razor scale, they might do different plays than you because of that tech choice, right? So but at the same time we want to think about, okay, why they're doing this, how much does this apply to us? So
Okay, because I'm pretty sure Pizza is the one I normally watch for any of Paladin, and he has some of these new, I call them Star Trek cards, but whatever those spaceship cards, I think he's put in some of those, and I think he runs Ethereal Oracle in his
it
Paladin
is
deck, if
Hamba
I remember
Paladin?
right,
Okay.
or
I
maybe it was
doubt
in
it, because it's
another.
Magatha,
Oh,
right? Maybe he's thinking you're thinking
oh,
Shaman.
okay. Okay, maybe it's Shaman. Yeah, I
Okay.
get confused as to. I know his Buff Paladin deck version is different from mine because he has a lot of the newer stuff that I
Hmm.
don't have, the newer cards. But yeah,
Um,
so yeah, and let's see. I see the screen here.
oh,
It's sort of
okay.
frozen.
Oh, it's actually so. This is like what's kind of awkward here, is that
Well, my screen is frozen.
okay. You might want to either you might want to follow on like at the same time as me, kind of. So here's the problem: is when I'm doing your video, if I put it on the OBS, I have to do it in a special way. I can't just
Oh,
share the screen. So I can do it, but then I got to go press play twice and then go stop
oh.
twice. So it might be better if you just follow along, um, sort of
Should
at
I
the same pace.
minimize this? Should I minimize Discord and open Twitch? Is that what you're saying, or?
You could do that, but then there's a delay.
Oh,
So you could do that. You could also like just open up the VLC file yourself. I'm starting right now on game one, so if you open up Twitch, you'll be able to see it right now. Where I'm at. Got Gold Panner, Grim Street Outfitter, and Muscletron in your opening hand. So yeah.
okay. You said open up what file?
Sorry, not
VLC.
the video file that you sent me. So
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I think we did this before, maybe a year ago, where it was hard for me to coordinate. Let me open up my folder, my Microsoft folder here, and find that video. Video. All right. Hey, I'm playing through my video where I just started.
So right now I'm starting at the Mulligan phase. Um,
Okay.
and let me know when you're
And I'm
ready.
still at the Q. Yeah, I'm still at the Q phase on my video.
Oh, actually, I figured out a loophole. Instead of sharing my screen, I can share the screen of my OBS. And that way, that might
Okay.
work.
That okay.
Wait, oh,
Okay,
for
if
some reason
that
it's not showing up on my OBS. Okay, screens, capture device.
okay, let me go back into
Oh,
Discord.
here we
If I
go.
see
All right.
if I see your version in Discord, I
Okay,
won't play
let me
mine.
know. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if okay.
Yes.
Well, let's just start
I
there.
see all your
You get to see,
I see your control panel.
yeah, you get to see my control. That's not important. So okay. All right, we'll start.
I
So
stand for Friends of the Light.
Still waiting for a game to appear.
so we'll keep. I think I just keep Gold Panner here.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I don't wait. Well, we gotta hold. It's not working. All I see is your control panel along the bottom, and I got a white
oh,
screen
okay. Yep.
above
This is what
that.
I was worried about. Okay. This is the problem with sharing video is it doesn't really work. Um,
Okay.
so this
All
yeah,
right.
it's kind of a problem. I see it. Um, so
Okay. I guess
so
I'm gonna have to
if you just open
try to
up it
fall.
yourself, you could also open up Twitch, but it's delayed. So that's another way. All right.
Oh boy, they don't. Yeah, our old way just of doing this through Discord worked
Well,
better than this.
that works
But
because
I
we're
know.
not broadcasting it, but we're broadcasting it, so it
Yeah.
gets more complicated. So
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay. I just like opened up my video I sent you, and I just
okay.
my mulligans just appeared on board where I have the Gold Panner,
Yep.
Grime Street, and
Yeah,
Muscletron.
and I think I would have just kept the gold panner there. I think so. These buff cards aren't as good when we don't have a big hand, and we don't have weapon, and we don't have the draw for weapon. So even though these are buff cards, so they're decent. With gold panner already on 2, I would prefer just that. Make sense?
Oh, okay. All right.
So we pass here. It's an
At
interesting
least I
of
didn't.
do you go gold? I think you go gold panner here. It does kind of force your play for next turn. You're going this. I think I slightly prefer gold panner because now the go gold panner could have drawn 2 cards here. Um, see that?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
um,
Plus, I can't even play the weapon right now because I don't
okay,
have coin.
yeah. So you could play the Muscletron here. It's okay. I think I'd rather just get Gold Panner. So this is like my least favorite play. Okay, and we didn't value trade. So let's talk about this. Um, the reason to not go Gold Panner into this guy is because we think well, we want to just tempo the Muscletron there. If like that's what we decide, this is a VOD, by the way. But when we forge here, one, we
Oh,
float a
is this?
mana, right?
Okay, yeah.
And if we got the gold panner down, that could maybe draw us 2 cards, right? So it's gonna draw us so if we play gold panner here, right? And then they go the excavate guy. Then we trade and we play the draw our weapon, right? Now by the time we play our weapon, our gold panner's already drawn us 2 cards, and then it can draw us even another card, right? So it might be a 2 mana draw 3, which means our weapon, when we play it, gets +3/+3 more. So it's kind of a spiraling amount of value. You forged here, but I would rather play the gold panner to get more card draw. And you can protect the gold panner. And the big disadvantage of playing gold panner is you float a mana, but you end up floating a mana with your play anyways. I thought what you might have been doing is going Muscletron, just playing it there, so you're prioritizing stats. And I think we were better off going for a more aggressive sort of. I'd rather get the gold panner is very valuable to get down, you know. So, but we ultimately the most important thing is having weapon on 4. But we could have done both of those. Do you see that?
Okay. Then I got a couple questions. You were talking about a value trade on that 1/1. Should I be concerned about giving Death Knights corpses that early in the game? Or
Well,
is that
how are we going to stop them from getting corpses, right? It's just like, well, we'll just never kill off their minions because they might get corpses, you know.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's some things you just can't stop, you know. It's kind of like,
Okay.
oh, should I? I'm trying to think, you know. I'm trying to think of like this in real life, you know, like, oh, no, I can't. I'm trying to think of like something you're
No,
saying.
no World War II
No
analogies.
World
or
War II
anything.
analogy. Yeah, I can't think of anything right now. I'm a little
But
shot here, but yeah.
well,
So
okay, okay. I get it. Well, and the one thing, since you've been coaching me ever since the pandemic back in 2020, you know that if I see people do stuff, I tend to mimic it. And
yeah.
I've seen people play the Muscletron without forging it, but I
Yep.
didn't want to get in the habit of doing that unless I understood if there was just a special case when you do that.
Well, we
Or
remember. So you have the let's mechanically do things without understanding them habit.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I have largely moved my coaching away from that mentality. If you do something and you've got a good reason for it and you tell me your good reason, I'm gonna be much more accepting of your play than if you're like, oh, I saw somebody do this one time. All right.
Yeah.
So we want to connect our plays to our own frameworks of how we think about the game. We don't want to be some like poorly programmed, because AI now is way complicated, right? We don't want to be some computer program from the 80s, right? That just like, oh, does this, does that. Like, we want to be a very complicated, like, okay, these are all these competing things, and we, much like Stockfish might evaluate a position, we say, okay, this is good for this reason, but this is good for that reason, and then we kind of like look at it in our own brains, and our brain says, ooh, either that or that. We don't want to be, you know, doing things without understanding. We want to say, okay, well, what do I want here? I like buffs, so I like forging because it gets the buffs, but I also like cards. So Gold Panner gets me more cards, which is nice, which means more cards buffed. We want to be going through this head. So, what's the advantage of your play? You're gonna go weapon on 4 here, and then you get to do a bunch of buffs on 5, and then your turn 6 is gonna be really strong. So that's the nice advantage of your play. The disadvantage, in my opinion, is you are up against a value matchup. So you're up against a Death Knight, where they often have removal for your boards. So having more value becomes a lot better. So getting card draw becomes better. And the later the game, the harder it is. Like a gold panner early that doesn't get answered can get a lot of value. So I think I would have just preferred that. So because of that. Now we talked a
Okay.
long time about
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But
All right.
that's kind of the gist of that. So Right.
Okay, then I'm gonna start my video,
Yep.
and you tell me
Yep.
what
Alright.
turn you're
Alright,
at, so I
I'll
can.
tell you what they're doing their play. They're playing their Arcanite, and then we're about to start turn 4. So you're just starting turn 4. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
So we just drew Magatha. So now it's kind of this
Yeah.
interesting thing of the play of having all these buffs, or the card draw is not as necessary because we can get a big Magatha draw. But I still think I just go weapon here and hit. Yep, I agree. And then I
Okay.
don't remember. Let's see. We don't want to trade off our 1/2. Okay, we learned that from last time. We don't preemptively trade our minions, so we make them do it. Okay, excellent.
Okay, so I just drew Righteous Protector, so we're at the beginning of turn 5 for me.
Okay. I'm going through their turn. Okay, so what do I want to do here if I were you? I might do something like weapon hit. It's kind of a weird one because let's see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could do a Magatha play where you overdraw and get so many buffs. It's actually kind of a good play here, but you overdraw. That's actually what I'm leaning to. I don't think you're gonna do it. But like, what's also nice about it is like we have to get cards out of our hand to go Magatha. But if we wait a turn, so we go Magatha and then we weapon hit, then our next turn we go Muscletron and Grimstreet, and our whole hand gets +3/+3. I don't think you're gonna do that play because I know your style, but that's what I would do here. So let's see what you do. You probably just do something like buffs, but I think Magatha is probably the best play. I think just playing your buffs here is okay too. So you could do weapon hit. So we also remember we want to weapon hit first, right? So
yeah.
Is here. I strike.
Okay, in my video, I just hit the taunt with my weapon, and the order I wrote down was to play Grime Street before Muscletron in that order.
Why? Why did you hear that?
Why did I do it? Somehow I had it that I do it that order and not Muscletron first and then Grime Street second. But I don't know now why.
That's bad. But if you had a reason, maybe there is a fringe case where you would do that. But I want you to think about all your minions got +3/+3 there, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between each line? Like what's the net difference between the two lines?
Okay. Muscletron is going to get +2/+2 first.
Wait, the Muscletron gets +2/+2?
Doesn't it give all minions in your hand +2/+2?
You said the Muscletron gets that.
Oh no, gives. Sorry,
okay.
give.
So all our minions in our hand that are still there got +3/+3, right?
Okay.
Because you played +1/+1 and a +2/+2. So everything in our hand has the same amount of stats if we did the other order. I want you to tell me what is the difference between each of the orders. What happens different?
Okay, I'm gonna figure that out. Six.
Only think of the prime.
Oh, that's my share Twitch. I'm trying to figure out the numbers in my head. I don't know if Grime Street is going to be higher stats if it came second and harder to kill. And it's a 4/4.
So why would it be higher stats?
Okay. It had Grime Street had 2/2. If I play the Muscletron, it becomes a 4/4.
Well, it already had +2/+2 from the weapon, right? So
right. Oh, so it's already a 4/4.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, then if I play the Grime Street first, it becomes a 6/6. I mean, if I play Muscletron first,
Yep.
Grime Street becomes a
But then
6/6.
how big would the Muscletron be?
It's gonna be only what, a 3/5 instead of 5/7. Let's see. This is Muscletron is only gonna be a 3, so at a 3/5. And if I play it now, it's going to come out as a 3/5. That's with the weapon. After the weapon hit, it's going to come out as a 3/5.
Well, it already hit
And
one buff, right? So you had 2 weapon hits. So it'd be +2/+2. So it'd be a 4/6, right?
Okay. So it's going to come out instead of 5/7, it's going to come out as a 4/6.
You could have either this 5/7 and a 4/4, or a 4/6 and a 6/6. Why do you think I might think the other one might be better? You know,
They both have 6 health, so both are going to be closer to harder to kill. Whereas a 4/4 is maybe easier.
That's actually a legitimate reason. That's a diversifying. But what the big reason is that in the second scenario, it's net +1/+1, right? Because you played the Muscletron first, right? You played the Muscletron first. That gives +2/+2, so you just get +1/+1 more stats, right?
Okay.
So
One more.
you're slightly better off because you just get a little bit more stats. Make sense?
Okay. All right. I'm jotting these numbers down to try to see if
it's just one. You get +2/+2 first, so the other minion is bigger stats, and the other one's +1/+1 first. So it's not some crazy thing. It's just like you want more stats on board. One gets you more stats by +1/+1 than the other. That's all it is. All right. So the reason you might do the other play is, let's say you want to make your Muscletron. Let's say you have like a stealth mini bot, right? And you want to make the Muscletron hidden. You might do the other one. So yeah, 9/11 versus 10/12. So one, you just get +1/+1 more stats. That's all it is at the end of the day. And more stats, good. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
let's go to the next turn.
Okay.
Okay, this is a very clear Magatha. We want to go like Magatha and then air guitarist and then weapon hit.
Okay. Yeah. I'm at my beginning my turn 6.
Yep.
So let's see what I do. And I admit I am stalling because I didn't play at all. I think it was December. I just stayed away from Hearthstone because I was trying to focus on chess. So I'm slow at making decisions with this.
Yep, so when you Magatha, not only do we get 10/10 on board, but now we have a giant hand to buff. And then we're probably going to play the air guitarist here. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. But we want to play that first so we don't get the buff on the air guitarist. But yep. But nope, not Righteous Protector. Okay, I'm misclicking. Yeah. And I think you could just weapon hit face, to be honest, and go face. I think that's probably best. Yeah, so you have a giant hand, right? And it's all getting buffs. Look at that. Look at those buffs. Beautiful, right? So you just have a very, big tempo pushes coming up, and most players are going to cry when they see all the stats coming down. I think what I would like to do here is probably like weapon hit face, then go like gold panner, maybe your dragon, which you actually overdraw, and then righteous protector. Okay,
Okay.
let's see what you do
So,
here. I don't know why you're thinking about Amethyst. It's a very pointless play
see,
here. So
uh,
we'll see.
yeah,
Maybe
I
doing
was,
it.
yeah, it wasn't, I was hovering over it, but
And we should weapon hit before we play our minions, right? So we just want to play big minions here. So you know, weapon hit, and then just drop minions here. So you know, I really wanted to get some card draw here. You kind of like we could have played those 4-drop guys, and gotten a little bit more. Um,
oh,
so we didn't take the card draw there. So you know we'd like to hit our second weapon, and we also didn't drop our biggest. We dropped the Tiger's plushie, but that's better to use on something like. We prefer doing those plays to react to big things. So I would have preferred, you know, us going the gold panner and the 4-mana dragon on the left there. It draws us 3 cards. We don't really need to remove that minion. Um, so we would rather save that stats for later and play the sort of slower play now when our opponent isn't threatening us. Make sense?
okay. Yeah, I just wrote that down about using Tiger's Plushie to react more than
Now
just,
we sometimes use it proactively, right? But we want this is a spot where our opponent's not really threatening us, so we'd rather you know get the big stats of those because they also draw us cards, right? So you know it is a divine shield minion, so it does have its advantages, but we really don't need the life steal here. So you know okay. But now we can go. We have an interesting choice of like, do we go for weapon here? I might go weapon, draw the weapon. I think I would play. Okay, I don't think I like this. It's just not really. Why are you going Amethyst here? Let's see. You have
mm,
12, 22. So you're not quite at lethal here. You might have had lethal weapon. I'm not sure. No, I don't think you did. But why do you think you went Amethyst here?
um, is it mana? Let me see what my. I think I was just trying to get it out. I knew that if I could get it on board, my guys are only going to take like 2 damage, and I could also buff my guys.
I mean, buffing your
And
guys
it
is
would,
good, right? So that's nice.
and Amethyst was 7 mana. Maybe I was adding up in my head how as close as I could get to spending 7 or 8 mana.
I could figure out some real easy ways to spend 8 mana. So you got a lot of
Okay.
cards in your hand. So I think you're kind of zeroing in. You're like, I know Amethyst is a good card, so I'm going to play Amethyst. But Amethyst is even better later, and you have these other cards that are really good now too. So I think I would have preferred to do something else. Particularly, like what I would like to do is you have a huge amount of stats on board here. So I would have liked to draw the weapon here, played the weapon, hit face, all right, and then got a gold panner. That then if you push all face here, you push 12, 22. So you push 24 damage. So they'll be at 13. You have a South Sea deckhand in hand. You're drawing cards with gold panner. And then now if like they remove, you have some powerful redevelopment opportunities. So I think that would have been a much stronger play. And then like this is a tempo play, right? Uh, you're gonna buff, you're gonna push face damage. It's not necessarily losing. I just don't think it's the best. So
Okay, so it should have been instrument tech to draw the weapon, equip the weapon and hit face,
yeah.
and then play a gold panner. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh,
So
okay,
at the
and
end of
that's
the
8
day,
mana.
you got a board. You're going face. You're probably gonna win this game. Um, so
Okay. Hey, your sound. Are you still there?
Yep,
Your
I'm still
sound went
there.
away.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I
oh,
just
okay.
I'm
Okay.
waiting for them to do their
Okay.
turn. I can't speed it up the way it is. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because on my viewer, I can jump
All
up
right, you
30
got them.
seconds
So,
ahead.
end of the day, what did we do here? We played weapon. We buffed up our stuff. We played a board. They didn't answer it. They died. That's
Okay.
most of Hearthstone, right? So we did what's important, um, and yeah, that won us the game. So
All right. Yeah. Okay. Hunter, my old favorite, Hunter.
okay, you already the. Let me zoom forward to okay. All right. Wow, this is a great starting opening hand. I like the full keep here. Especially Hunter, it's reasonable to keep with the Muscletron, I think. Um, so, man, this hand's great. Alright, play the Drone Deconstructor here.
So I have to do my auto squelch. Well, I have to do my hand manual squelch because Hearthstone won't give me auto squelch feature. Yeah.
Okay, I think, yep, I like going face to potentially proc an Explosive Trap. And then the Instrument Tech. Yep, perfect. Got a hidden meaning here.
Can comprehend the expanse of my power.
Yeah, I remember when you were coaching me on Hunter, I don't think we ever used a Secret Hunter version. We used Beast and
Did
Face,
we not?
and
I feel like we might have done a Secret Hunter at some point, but I'm not sure.
maybe it was called Arcane.
We did. No, we
Or
did that
did,
one with the weapon, right? The 6-mana weapon that you get all discounted, right? So I feel like we
oh,
did.
yeah, the more
Yeah.
secrets you play. Oh,
Yeah. So we
yeah,
did do a Secret
okay.
Hunter. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
So to be honest, I kind of like tempoing Muscletron here. But you could play it slow. I don't really like tempoing the Righteous Protector because the Righteous Protector is going to be huge. Yeah, so this is bad because we want to get after we get 3 buffs, it's going to be a 4/4 Divine Shield, which is just way better. So you just play 2 minions here, and on one end like tempo says like okay, well we got minions on the board, but now our buffs only go on 3 minions, right? 4 with the top deck. So now our Muscletron doesn't get as many buffs. So I think this was a trap play. You got to spend your mana,
So,
but I would have preferred either Hero Power Pass, Tempo Muscletron, or Forge Muscletron. I think those were the good plays. I think
oh,
just reacting to this board was really incorrect. Make sense?
okay. Yeah. So I had three good choices, didn't pick any of
Yeah.
them.
So I
Picked
mean,
the
this is
four.
remember this is what's so with hand buff normal when you learn Temple Hearthstone, where usually it's like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Um, this is a VOD. We tempo stuff out, right? We're big tempo. But with hand buff Paladin, we kind of take slower plays on our first 1, 2, 3, and then weapon on 4, and then start another big buff on 5, and then big tempo 6, 7, 8. That's kind of how the deck works. So now the problem is all these. So that Righteous Protector, if we played it on turn 6, would be a 6/6 Divine Shield, right? It's a recording, DJ. Yeah. So it would be a 6/6 Divine Shield. So we gave up a potential 1-mana 6/6 Divine Shield to have tempo now. Sometimes that's right in Hearthstone, but sometimes we're okay with tempo now for less tempo later. But this is a little too much, and that's so if that makes sense. So yeah.
And I got the order all wrong. I should have hit with the weapon first
So
before
when they do
doing
that,
anything.
so I mean, I think yeah, you just hit the guy. You could play around Ice Bear. I think I just go face. So I go face there because statistically, there's not enough chances for it to be Ice Barrier, that you're better off putting the 5 damage. But like theoretically, your play is okay. But I feel like you just didn't go face because you didn't know what the secrets were gonna be.
Which
You
yeah.
know, just but so there could be 5 secrets there. One of them is Ice Barrier. So in theory, going face, they gain 1.8 armor, so you net 1.2 life. That's some complicated math. So I understand. Like it's you kind of lost out on 1.2 damage on average. But that's the theory behind it. So.
And now here I'm worried about bait and switch, so I never touch the Gorgon's Zormu.
Well, that's okay. So we can beat bait and switch, but you know, you can trade into this, take the bait and switch, and then just trade it off. It's not that big a deal. So I think that's something.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, you also So if you weapon hit his bait and switch, then you can do this. You know your Tiger's plushie. You know, there's also things like freezing trap. So there's some tricky plays. So yeah, you should be buffing up your minion first, right? You should be buffing before this. This play didn't really make sense. And then, yeah. So we could weapon hit that first, right? I guess you play the gold panner here, but we could go face. Yeah, we want to play our gold panner, right? So, yeah, we could have had more buffs on our 3/4 there, right? If we'd weapon hit first.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And after I made that play, I remember I should have weapon first. This is all about buffing stuff.
Okay, so, okay, so with the air guitarist, okay, so this is a spot where I think we want to go face with like maybe the I think we can ignore the Gorgon Zormu here, but we want to play around explosive traps. So I think we'd go face with the with our instrument tech first. Then we would go air guitarist, weapon hit. Then go face with all our other minions. Then maybe go something like Muscletron plus hero power. That seems reasonable to me. Let's see what you end up doing. I don't think you have lethal here. I didn't fully do the math, but so yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would have preferred going instrument tech face first there, so your air guitarist wouldn't die for the explosive. But so also we should go face with one of our minions first, because if it's freezing trap, the minion that gets put back in our hand would take the buff, right? So this is another, secrets, and I think you can hero power here. Why did you not hero power here?
Oh, maybe I had some rule about not using hero power if there's anything in hand I could do.
You also could have gone Righteous Protector as well. So hero power or Righteous Protector. You're coming to kill them, right? So like just setting up for a win for next turn is probably optimal. So you don't really need to do anything like so floating mana there, just set like most amount of stats this turn, win the next turn. That's what I want to do. All right. So
okay, yeah. Never know about when I should put those little recruits, 1/1 recruits on board.
Well, what is the general rule? Like, we have the mana, we wasted the mana, right? Like, we didn't get anything out of it. So do we think, are we better off having a 1/1 there or not? Like, that's the end of the day. It's kind of, in chess, if you could just start with 1 extra pawn, would you? If you could just get a free pawn for no reason, you would probably take a free pawn, right?
Yeah.
Now, occasionally a free pawn in the wrong spot blocking your bishop might screw you over, right? It does play around hidden meeting. Yeah, so that's a reason. Were you playing around hidden meeting there?
Yeah, I kept hovering over my secrets in the top left.
Okay.
And I kept looking at them and saying, what can I play that won't trigger any of these things?
Okay. So that's a better reason. You're playing around Rat Trap and Hidden Meeting.
Yeah.
Is that why you were doing it?
Rat Trap was the one I was concerned about, because that secret has been posted up there in the top left for ever.
Okay. So remember, I don't always care if it's completely right. I want to see the reasoning why you're doing it. So those are both good reasons to play around, and those are acceptable reasons to play around, to not hero power and not Righteous Protector. So that's why when I say why did you do this, I want you to know, like, okay, I'm doing this because I think the benefit of a 1/1 or a Righteous Protector here is not as much as the risk of a hidden meaning when I have such a clear path to victory. That's a very reasonable reason, okay? So, but we want it when we do non-standard plays, we want to have very crystallized reasons why we're doing non-standard plays. Why are we floating mana? Why are we not hero powering or playing Righteous Protector? We want reasons, and we want to sort of anchor them to the situation, right? We don't want to just say like, well, do we just never always play around the Rat Trap? Do we always float mana when they have secrets? That can get us in a lot of trouble, right? So we want to have reasonings on why this situation it happens. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Okay. I think that you're
Okay,
just gonna go
down.
Leroy next turn and they're gonna die, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then you can tell me when you queue up because I'm using the media player and I can
okay.
jump up 30 seconds
Okay.
and I can get to the
Right
beginning
now
of
it's
my
on their
next
turn.
game.
They got it's their turn 6 and they're going. So well, you have lethal here, so see if you see it. Weapon hit, go face. Okay, yeah, it doesn't even matter. You got him. You already played around freezing trap last turn, so. Yeah. So what did we do? We played stats. We played our weapon. We buffed stuff up. They didn't respond quickly enough. You know, Hearthstone, right? So
Yeah. And me smork face.
it just complicated Sam because it's not as simple because I mess up I can, but I just let the opponent do their turn. So, all right, let's zoom to the next game. All right, I'm in your Mulligan phase. You're up against a Death Knight. I think I keep Painters, maybe Grim Street. I think you could keep the Righteous. I don't want to tempo the Righteous on 1. So if you keep this and you play it on 1, I think that's a bad play. Maybe you could get away with it with now Magatha, but yeah, I still don't think I do it. I think I pass on 1 here. So let's see if you pass on 1. Yeah, I agree with this. Just in that, like, that Righteous could be huge. So we'd rather wait, right?
Okay.
So I think we go Grim Street here.
You could use a trim.
Alright, weapon. I like it. Their minion. Our curve is a little weird here. It's like, because we want to go Magatha on 5 here, I think. So we want to make sure, you know, I kind of like doing a Temple Muscletron this turn because we want to make sure we have enough hand space. So let's see. We have 5 minions in hand. So yeah, I think you could go, you know, the weapon hit Temple Ashal Serpent. You do overdraw with that play. So I think I would go weapon hit, then play the Muscletron, and then play the Righteous Protector. That's what I like here. I wouldn't forge it. So yeah, the problem with this is you didn't do much here, right? Like, I would much rather get the tempo on board here. So I see what you're going for. You're going for max value. And you know, this does set up for this, but I think I would have preferred just tempo the Muscletron and wait for that South Sea to get like really, really big. But at the end of the day, your play is kind of a winning line. Like, you have an idea here. You're putting tempo on the board now. You're gonna go for Magatha next turn, get a really big hand, buff it up. So while it's not probably what I would have done here, it's still a good line overall. So So let's make sure we go Magatha here. The Magatha. We're gonna go Magatha first because we want all the minions to get buffed. Excellent. We got another weapon. We got a bunch of minions. Yeah, and then you can hit the weapon, hit the 1/1, or you can weapon hit face. Both are acceptable. But I think we want to go double face with our minions here. Just go for the win here. You're so ahead. So yep.
Because I'll tell you, I was hesitant about hitting the weapon because I had air guitars, and I was thinking if I hold the weapon, I can get a.
And that's so true here. That's a really good nuance. But like knowing you have another weapon hit that you could do next turn, I think it makes it a very clear weapon. But that's a good thing to be thinking about. I still think it's so you thought about it and then thought weapon still. So that's excellent. That you kind of thought about that trade-off there. Because you know you could go air guitars plus something else. You know, playing air guitars, weapon hitting, and then going like your your 5-drop's a nice play for next turn. But I still think this play is better. So I prefer this. And you're kind of just coming to kill them here, right? Like you kind of just need one more charge minion, and you have a pretty guaranteed win. So this is a weird turn coming up because we actually have a ton of options here. You know, a ton of options. You know, something simple like weapon plus like audio medic could be good here. Like I kind of like that. You could go Ziliax here. You could go your 3-drop buff, and then play something else. There are a ton of options. I just want to see. Sam, sorry I can't get you the deck code right now. I don't have it. So,
Yeah. And this is an old buff Paladin deck code I started playing 5 months ago. Never changed any cards.
Yep.
So
you know, weapon hitting this 5/1 here. We definitely want to hit the 5/1 here. And then yeah. So we don't want to play the South Sea for sure here. I would weapon hit the 5 for this. I would play the audio medic here. You could also go gold panner. That's reasonable. Yeah, I want to trade off their minion here. The face damage is kind of nice here, but I think I would prefer to trade off their minion. But this is okay. Like this is end of the day, this line is gonna win you the game. So there's all these little nuances, but at the end of the day, you played your weapon, you got some minions on board, and you're going for the win here. So we're still just in a great spot overall. Our opponent is just a little too slow here. So you might even have like a fancy lethal with like buff South Sea here. I'm not sure. There's a lot of different lines you can go for here. I can't remember how big your guy is here. Okay, so let's see if you hover over the 5-drop here. That's what I want you to hover over. I can't remember how big it is. Alright, this is fine if you didn't have lethal, and I don't think you have lethal. I can't remember how this, but you know, it's a ton of stats. And you're probably I might have done something like, oh wait, you did have lethal, right? No, you were just off. Okay. You were one you were one off lethal here, so ooh, this is rough though. So we might have been better off doing something like Muscletron there. Let's see if we have lethal now this turn. We can kill off your 7/9, right? So let's see. We have 10 plus 5 plus 2 here, I believe. 10 plus 5 plus 2 unfortunately is not lethal here, right? So what I would like to do, because we don't have lethal, right? So with weapon hit, our 5-drop I think gets 10 attack. Okay. So and then our South Sea would have 5 attack, I believe. So we're 2 off. So I would like us to go weapon hit, play our Tareem on our 4/4 here, and then use the. No, actually, no. Actually, I think we want to go Tareem on our 4/4, then the 1 mana Tareem on the 10/18 here, weapon hit that, and then play our Gold Panner. That seems like the strongest line to me. Let's see what you do here. Okay.
I strike.
So the disadvantage of this, of going the weapon hit first, is now we don't have a way to kill off the guy, so we might end up pushing, you know that actually the play is probably like South Sea on the, we might have to like rush our South Sea in here, which we don't really like, because we want to push this 10 damage face, but you kind of have to kill this guy, so we miss out on a huge amount of face damage here, basically. Let's see if you go, this is the South Sea. You can see also, you're 1 off lethal here, which kind of sucks. So, and let's see, do you trade off their 1/1? I think I trade off their 1/1 because you don't have this one yet. So I would have preferred us to weapon hit. We'd miss out on 1 damage, but then we get to keep the South Sea, and then we can do double buffs on it on a future turn. So that seems a little stronger. Yeah, so now we don't have a charge minion to win here. And if we had held, now we got lucky, right? We got lucky. We top decked the Leroy. But if we'd done the right play there, we would have had lethal with the South Sea here, okay? So
weapon hit first. I gotta remember it.
Okay. Alright. So wait, okay. Okay. So alright, so I think we're about at time. So let's go let's review this real quick.
Right.
So I think like we had some turn. I think just working on our turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, like sort of decisions of like, kind of I think that was kind of the week. I think so we had some plays of like
And I know I wrote down some notes about the Tiger's plushie, about using it more as a reaction.
Well,
card.
it was more like, okay, so if you have a 10/10 that's a rush, like a rush Divine Shield, that's what Tiger's plushie is, and you have a 10/10 the Astral Serpent, which draws you 2 cards, and they have a 1/1 on the board, so you don't really need to react to that. What's better there, right? Right, I'd rather get the 10/10 that draws the 2 cards, because I get the 2 cards now, and then I can use the Tiger's plushie if they play like a 10/10 later, right? Where if I do it the other way, well, they proc my Divine Shield with their 1/1, right? And then I don't get the card draw now. So you can see it's better to do sort of slow kind of plays. So like a slow play is like a Gold Panner, a playing the weapon, the National Serpent, on turns where our opponent's not really threatening us. And these like very highly reactive plays are better. Now, sometimes you might have a 10/10 Tigers plushie and you just want to play that, right? But I think we were looking at 2 different minions, and one was a very clear improvement. So I think that was the big takeaway there. Make sense?
Okay. All right. The other question, one note I had was something about playing Magatha, and one of these games I should have played Magatha and even risked overdrawing.
Yeah, that's a little bit of advanced play, but it was, I think, the right play. It would have been real nice. So those are the tough plays where, our brain says we don't want to overdraw cards, right? So that's a little tough. But I think that was a spot where I think it was the best play. Make sense?
All right. Okay. And then the last note I had was about the secrets and which ones to play around. I do remember that I was concerned about Rat Trap. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was hovering over the secrets every time before I play cards. Yep. And that's also why I probably floated some mana and didn't play one of those 1/1 recruits. But I gotta figure out secrets.
Yeah, I think when you're playing around secrets, make sure you say, I'm playing around this secret, and I think the risk of the secret isn't worth the reward. So the problem is if you just always play around secrets, you're gonna get in trouble. So you only play around them sometimes. So we don't wanna be in these situations where we're just very, very scared, so we just don't take action. That's the flight or flight, or the where we just hide in the corner because of secrets. Like we want to be ready, like hiding in the corner, and then be ready to go out and fight the bear if it's necessary. Okay. So
Okay.
okay, we don't want to just be pure fear. Okay, because then we don't take action.
Okay.
We have to kill them at the end. Like we can't just hide all game. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, got some good notes, and yeah,
All right,
this is
good work. So remember, at
good
the end of the
session.
day, what did you do? You played your weapon, you buffed up your stuff, you did a big tempo push, and that wins games. So,
Okay.
we made
Okay.
these little small technical mistakes, and we always want to be working on those. But you got the fundamentals of the deck well, and that's why this deck is so strong. Because it's like if you get the fundamentals well, it just wins games. Players just can't deal with a 10-10. So, all right.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Okay. Good. And I'll be seeing you next time. I guess we're gonna do another live Twitch thing.
I could do
Uh,
another one next
I
week. So I got another
yeah.
week of this. I think the week of the 23rd.
Yeah.
The thing stuff.
And,
So okay.
okay. And there's no way that we can get this video play coordinated in any way. It's just I
I
gotta
haven't
play
figured
my.
it out. I haven't figured it out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
Then yeah,
awkward.
we can.
You if we do replays, then it's easier to do.
You
So for this
just
situation,
send you a list of URLs from
we could do
HR
replays. That's
HS.
easier for the OBS. So we could do that. All
Mm,
right.
okay. All right. Great. All right. I'm gonna close out some windows, go into PayPal, and then I'm gonna watch you for the rest of the evening on Twitch.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you
All
for
right.
it. Have a good
Okay.
one. A good
All
one.
right.
All
Thanks.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
All right.
You're just in time to go where no hero has gone before.
Um, anyways. Okay, let me get some green tea. We'll get started. All right. We're doing shaman today. Oh, we could do shaman today. All right, let's do murmur shaman, but let's do it on let's do it on Asia, on EU. Let's do the shaman. I agree. Um, doing hand buff today, probably not. Yeah, last time I did hand buff, like my viewership tanked, and someone messaged me. This didn't actually happen. They're like, "I thought you were. What happened to you, No Hands? Used to be an interesting character." But Murmur. Shaman. Alright, let me see if I can find the most.
Tell us a
What's
story,
like, let's see, let's go with Donkey. Website. Shaman. Okay. Alright, I found, so there's Dungar Shaman. That's not, those are the good ones, right? That's not really what I want. I want the Murder OTK Shaman, okay. I'm looking at the stats, it's not a very good deck. But I think we'll play it anyways, so, alright. So the Dungar, but that's just like, okay, I think you just do it to cheat out Dungar. Discord overlay is open? Okay. What's open on the so yeah, he's my dad's age, so actually I think like a few years older, so and I've coached him for a while. He makes a lot of the same mistakes my dad does. So I'll coach him and then I'll coach my dad, and that, like they're both like they both do the same thing, and it's kind of funny. All right. Yeah. So if did VS have a Murmur Shaman build? This Cow Dungar Shaman. They don't even have a build for it. So I have all the cards. Oh, I gotta craft Murmur. Alright. Let's see if I can open Murmur. I don't have any other packs. Alright, I can't, so alright, let's do this. Alright, we'll just craft it. Alright, here we go.